We want to bring in our own Don Dare again. And Don, you have been spending day after day with these evacuees, and another emotional day as you caught up with two friends kind of reuniting and getting some pretty tough news.
Yeah, we know that 10 people have died as a result of the fires, and the names, unfortunately, of the deceased haven't been released to the public, but their friends know who they are, and we met these two women today. They're close friends, and here's their story. Let's listen. Jasmine Hurst saw her friend Linda Stringer today for the first time since the fire.
It's good to see that she's safe. She's safe. She made it out.
How many other friends are you concerned about?
One especially, her name is Pam, and she worked at the McKinney's, and they have not found her.
They did. I have confirmation.
Is she okay?
No, she's not. She has passed.
She didn't make it?
No.
She's such a good person, too.
She was the best soul there ever was.
She was so nice. I don't understand why it happens to people like that, you know.
It's okay. It's all right. Sorry.
I am too. Oh, I'm glad you're okay.
Jasmine said she was told by officials that their friend Pam stayed in her home because she didn't want to leave her animals behind.
She was at her home. She wouldn't leave her pets.
She wouldn't leave her pets?
No, she wouldn't. They tried to forcibly remove her people that were there, and
I heard they're trying to get her to leave.
And she wouldn't leave, and they said that the roof fell in on her.
And you know, we heard that several times today. Folks didn't want to leave without their pets. And we have a story at 6 o'clock where that happened, but fortunately these folks made it. The names of the deceased should be released publicly probably tomorrow or Saturday.
You know, so often in tragedies like this, you end up hearing about churches with damage and a Bible is left or a statue's left, and they really kind of tug at your heartstrings. We're seeing a lot of them circulate. You had a chance to speak with the congregation today.
Yeah, we sure did. You know, each day the number of structures affected by the blaze goes up. Today the number is about 1,000 cabins, homes, and businesses either destroyed or damaged by Monday's wildfire, and it includes churches. And today we talked with a member of a Gatlinburg church. The Roaring Fork Baptist Church building has been destroyed. The wildfire torched the sanctuary and family life center, but it's lit a fire in the spirit of its members.
We just lost it all. The building is gone, but the church is right here.
In your heart?
Yes, and we're going to have services at Camp Smoky starting Sunday morning at 11 o'clock. 200
people are members of the Roaring Fork Baptist Church congregation. Many are eager to meet this Sunday.
Well, we've got chairs for 150. We might have to put speakers outside, but we're ready to go. We need to get back into church. We need to find out. We had a few church members lost their homes, but no church members lost their lives. We're not stopping, because if we stop, we'll die.
And you don't want that?
We don't want that. We don't want that. We want to be the first building in Gatlinburg standing.
You know, it's been said several times here this week that the people from these mountains are from hardy stock and a strong faith.
And it's being tested, and they're rising above.
Exactly.
Don, I've got to ask, getting a little bit emotional. This has been tough for a lot of us.
Yeah, it is. You know, seeing someone's church burn, wow, that really gets you.
It really does. Don, thank you so very much.
Well, more heartbreaking news coming out of those deadly wildfires. The family of Reverend Ed Taylor confirming he too died during those fires. WATE 6 on your side reporter Don Dare now live from Gatlinburg. Don, you talked with someone real close to this popular man.
Yeah, we sure did today, Laura. You know, while Reverend Taylor's death has not been reported by Gatlinburg officials yet, that's been the practice here all week, his son has said publicly his dad died in the fire Monday night. A former employee told us she was told by officials Reverend Ed was killed unable to escape. She knew him very well.
And that's from the Holy Book, the Bible.
For 3 decades, Reverend Ed Taylor conducted about 85,000 wedding ceremonies in Gatlinburg. He pioneered the wedding industry in Sevier County. Reverend Ed's dog, BB, was found wandering the streets Wednesday, 2 days after fire swept Gatlinburg. But Ed was missing.
He loved BB, his dog, more than anything, and that dog was with him all the time.
Deanna Cole worked with Reverend Taylor for more than 20 years. She was one of his wedding photographers. Mrs. Cole says Reverend Taylor retired from Gatlinburg Chaplain Ministries last year, but wasn't ready to retire from life.
He's telling me they were putting their gazebos up, and the wind and the smoke was so bad. He said, I'm having some trouble breathing up here then. This is Monday afternoon. And I said, well, Rev Ed, you may need to leave. He was going to start over, have his weddings on the mountain in the gazebo.
We've talked with Ed many times over the years about different issues. He always had a warm smile. Friends say he always had a caring heart.
I think he'll be remembered as, in his words, a mover and shaker, which he was, as a kind, generous. He believed in God more than anything in the world.
Reverend Taylor was an ordained Baptist minister. He was also a crusader. He believed it was very important for couples to be married by real members of the clergy in Sevier County as well as in Gatlinburg. Reverend Taylor leaves behind 3 children.
Now, our own Don Dare has been in Gatlinburg all day long. He's been checking in with business owners. He joins us from another part of town with his story. Don.
Well, Kristen, the parkway on this end of the town was spared from the wildfire as the flames flew over this part of the business district. But the ash from the fires that surrounded the city, the ash has left, as you said, a layer of that smelly soot. Removing soot and ash is a top priority for most businesses that escaped the flames in downtown Gatlinburg. ServPro, a restoration and cleaning company, will be busy the next few days.
Basically, you have a heavy smoke odor as well as a light soot throughout the building that's going to need to be removed. And basically, you just do a top to bottom cleaning in there, and no stone unturned.
Besides Annie Ann's, how many other buildings along the strip here do you think will need to be cleaned like this?
Basically, all of them.
Ron Foreman spent a few hours today on his knees cleaning up the business he manages on the parkway. His Westgate sales force operates 6 other booths that will also need to be freshened up.
Quite a bit of soot damage, quite a bit of smoke damage. Typical after the fire, a lot of the ashes blew in. Some of the doors weren't open, and I have, some areas that the doors were blown off and torn up.
That was our neighbor's townhouse.
Andrew Harjani barely escaped from his condo alive when the roaring fire swept through Gatlinburg Townhouse Village, destroying 10 units, but sparing his.
It was like a bad dream or, like a bad movie. It was a lot of fire on the mountain back there, fire on the bypass, from 321. It was scary.
Andrew's t-shirt business on the Parkway, Tennessee's Best, will also need to be aired out. Andrew, you're not going to give up on Gatlinburg.
No, sir. Mountain strong is what they say, so that's what we are. God was obviously watching over us.
Among the store owners and managers that we talked with today, there is confidence that they'll be ready for visitors on Friday when the city reopens for business. Kristen? Well, Kristen, some 12 million people visit Gatlinburg and the surrounding area every year, many staying downtown, others enjoying the views from cabins and lodges high in the mountain over the city. Well, one locally owned lodge, it's just off of Ski Mountain Road, it was destroyed. But the owner tonight, he is determined it will be rebuilt. As they looked at this spectacular view of the mountains, Katie Carter and Ellie Morgan knew they were lucky to survive last week's wildfire. The lodge at Buckberry Creek is in ruins. Ellie was the last to leave as the wind-whipped fire swept through the complex.
Hard to believe, hard to see it now, but very blessed that everyone made it off of the mountain okay. All of our employees were wonderful that night.
Buckberry Creek was one of Gatlinburg's premier retreats, lodging famous and regular people since it opened 12 years ago.
Some of the people have said, we'll send back, your deposit. And some people have said, please leave it for the rebuild. We want to be part of that. So that was awfully encouraging and very dear at a hard, terrible time.
It's just so surreal actually seeing everything here and seeing the property and just just looking at everything, I mean, it's just gone.
Yeah.
Buddy McLean and his brother developed the lodge. Buddy's grandfather had purchased the property in 1945. The lodge at Buckberry Creek had 42 suites and could house 100 people in luxury.
Just like other people, we're resolved to get this back. And in fact, I just talked to a demolition person to see when he could get scheduled to come up here and look as soon as he can get in.
Somehow this rocking chair was not consumed by the fire. It survived when everything else around it was destroyed. Buddy says it will have a special place when the lodge is rebuilt.
It's pretty much a symbol of only one thing that really stands, and it's sitting here looking at these beautiful views and these beautiful trees. So can't ask for much more.
What we saw today was heartbreaking, yet what we heard from Buddy and other property owners was encouraging. They'll be back.
Our own Don Dare had a chance to visit with a couple, a veteran and his wife, who were seeing their home for the very first time.
Kathy and Joe Wagner's home overlooking the mountains here in Gatlinburg is no more. With fire burning all around them 9 days ago, they barely escaped off the road before this place was consumed. Today, they started all over again. Their journey began at Costco in West Knoxville this morning, where Kathy was fitted with a new pair of glasses, her old bifocals left behind.
Every day gets better, actually. At first, it's just shell shock, and then the next 24 hours, it's just recovery. What do I need to do today to go on with my life?
Then it was on to buying the essentials, those little things you take for granted every day until you don't have them.
We're still a little bit in a daze of what all you need to have, and we're trying not to buy anything that we moved in with nothing in the car, and we're trying to move out with very little.
The couple spent several hours picking up everyday items that they'll need while staying at their temporary home in Pigeon Forge.
So we're going to get by with bare minimum. As she's looking right now at luggage, we lost, well, of course, when you lose everything, you lose a lifetime of luggage as well as all the other stuff.
Kathy got a new key fob today, free from her car dealer, the original lost in the fire. She credits Good Samaritans who cleared the road, enabling them to escape the firestorm unharmed. And these two men cut a tree so you could get through.
Our guardian angels that fell out of the sky, yes. Because there was a huge tree across the road, and there was no way we're going across that tree. They jump out of Jeeps with a chainsaw and start sawing this big tree.
But we have each other and our family, and they're very thankful for all that. So that's the bottom line.
While their inner spirit is strong, the trauma that they experienced here is something different. Psychologically, the Wagners aren't ready to say yet whether they'll rebuild on this site. In Gatlinburg, Don Dare, WATE 6 on your side.
There are still so many families dealing with the loss of really everything they have. And Don, so many of these things are irreplaceable.
Yeah, and this is a Purple Heart received in Vietnam. The veteran's son has searched, hoping to find his father's Purple Heart. He found a case, but not the medal itself. It's lost in the debris.
I've sifted through everything.
Travis Cogdell showed us what's left of the home where he grew up. Nothing remains of his mom and dad's place, destroyed by the wildfire as it swept through the mountains. Travis's father, Jim, a Vietnam veteran, was with the 1st Cav in 1966 when he was badly injured in combat. Travis has spent hours combing through the debris, looking for his dad's Purple Heart, but unable to find it and other medals.
I haven't really been able to find much. Found the case for one, and but that's about it so far. And we've been through it and through it and through it. I don't know if it just burned completely up, or he also had a plaque, and that's gone.
Judy Cogdell says she and her husband barely got out alive 10 days ago. She says many memories are left behind in the home she shared with Jim for over 40 years.
It was horrifying. By the time that we knew the fire was close, it was so close that it actually burned our faces as we got in our cars.
Jim Cogdell has cancer. Despite losing his left leg in the war, his disability didn't stop him from trying to put out the fire.
I'm not scared of fire, so I stayed and tried to save the house.
Save your house?
Yeah.
With his dad's war medals missing, Travis said he's arranged to get them replaced, especially that Purple Heart.
We have a friend that's she knows someone that to expedite the replacing of them.
The Cogdals are temporarily living in their son's mountaintop home. Jim's grateful for the outpouring of love and support.
There's no way to thank them, and it's just like the fire. It's just overwhelming, you know. There's so much help and so much kindness.
An undamaged statue of Jesus is all that's left at their home.
God's been with us. He spared our lives, and we owe all the glory to Him.
This is a family indeed with a strong faith. And Kristen, Jim's younger brother, he was killed in Vietnam in 1968, and there was a special American flag that Jim was given in honor of his brother. It's in a case. It was lost in the fire too. Travis hopes to have that Purple Heart before Christmas.
One East Tennessee family heartbroken, continuing to look for any kind of answers about their missing loved one.
You know, we've been keeping you updated on the wildfires in Gatlinburg, of course, since they broke out more than 2 weeks ago. 14 people confirmed dead in those fires, but one family is still waiting for word about what happened to Pamela Johnson.
She was last seen leaving work the night of November 28th. WATE 6 on your side reporter Don Dare spending today checking in with Johnson's family. He joins us now live. And Don, they're waiting for some kind of answer, aren't they?
Yeah, they sure are. And you know, the missing person is a 59-year-old grandmother who has lived here in Gatlinburg for the last 15 years. Still missing is Pam Johnson, a clerk at McKinney's Market and Deli in Gatlinburg. Mama Pam, as she was known to her friends, hasn't been seen since the night of November 28th and is the last person not yet identified. Her granddaughter, Carissa Dalton, says she talked with her grandmother several times the night of the fire.
She told me she loved me, that if everything got bad, she'd get out, and I told her okay. And then I called her again at 10:36, and that was the first of 29 unanswered calls.
Mrs. Johnson was sent home early from McKinney's Market on Highway 321 as the fire closed in. Which is your apartment?
Apartment 3.
Jeff Laws has known Pam for 10 years. On the night of the fire, she was taking care of Jeff's dog in his apartment at the Travelers Motel. He was in Kentucky at the time.
She's just a very good woman. I'm going to miss her so. She's meant a lot to me. I don't know what I would do without her. But I love her so.
There is a little plate.
A few days ago, Carissa found knickknacks belonging to her grandmother picked up from the debris in the Efficiency apartment.
It was heartbreaking to see that, you know, where the place your grandmother lived for so many years is burnt to the ground, and the only thing that's there are the walls still standing.
Everybody's gonna miss her. She's just like my mama.
Carissa is holding out a sliver of hope about her grandmother's fate.
I want to hear that she's alive and okay.
I'm tore all to pieces over it.
She hasn't been identified.
I know.
Your fear is what?
That was her here.
Now, the TBI is pursuing a lead that could identify the last missing person, a person who loved her animals. She took care of several of them, a person who was loved by so many here.